Good morrow, fellow Earthlings. I hope you're doing very well. Assalamu alaikum. Kemcho, Shubo Shakal. Buenos dias. Buenas noches. I hope you're doing very well. Today, I am going to be covering all about therapy. I have been providing mental health counseling for a couple years now, and I'm going to debunk it in case you are wondering, have questions, or you just want to know more about it, or you're starting and you're hesitant. Okay, so I went very, very in depth, and there's just because there's a lot about the stigma, there's a lot about the culture. So I went in deep, and believe it or not, after 30 minutes, there's still more to talk about. So there will be a part two because I just don't want to leave any leaf unturned as much as I can because there's just a lot that I wish everybody would know. So it is going to be a little bit of a long talk, not more of a teaching, but more of a let's sit and talk. So take some time, listen to it. If you don't finish it all in one go, come back to it and give me some time because there is some other perspectives. For example, I talked about men in therapy. I will talk about women in therapy. Just give me some time. I do want to talk about spirituality and metaphysics more, but there's just some things that I have to talk about or finish or touch on before I move on to this because this is really, really important. Okay, so sit through it, learn about it from my perspective, and I hope it helps you. And I hope if you're starting therapy or if you want to start therapy, I hope this helps you start. So thank you so much. Come back for the next one, and I'll see you there. Bye. If you're tuning back in for another talk, thank you so much for being here. And if you've just come and clicked on this video, then probably you're thinking about starting your journey in therapy, or you're tiptoeing, or you're hesitant. The last time I talked about why people don't believe in love, and that's a very big topic. I know that throughout the videos that I make, it's going to just keep on expanding on it. But before we get into the therapy portion, I just want to say a couple different things. I talked about why people don't believe in love, and there's so many layers as to why, as to how to go about learning to believe in love and exhibiting love for yourself based on your self concept, your self worth, your self esteem, your trauma, or the trauma that you've been through. A lot of those things will dictate whether you believe in love or not, or whether you want to go on the journey of learning about love or not. Actually, I thought these videos weren't going in any order, but actually, it's actually the perfect order to go into because you might need to go through all of those things, the self esteem, the self worth, the self concept, the trauma. You might need to go through all of that to then open the avenues of love. Otherwise, it's going to be nearly impossible to know what love is because when you're vibrating on a low energy, which is a low self-worth, which is a low self-esteem, which is not really understanding yourself as the creation on earth on a mind, body, and soul level, it's going to be really hard to understand love. If you're courageous enough to go through the journey from not believing in love and disbelieving in love to love is true and it exists, then you're in for a very tumultuous journey, but it's well worth it. Okay, it's not going to be easy from changing your mind, body, soul from love doesn't exist, love sucks, people suck, everything sucks to wow, this is truly magnificent, and I'm with the beloved always and forever. And I always have been. I just didn't know. When you're going through that journey from one side to the other, it is not the easiest, but it's worth it. So hopefully I can aid you in that journey if you're ready to. And one of the tools to learn about love and get rid of all the things that is not love and go towards love is therapy. Why? Because we need to understand the mind separate from the soul, separate from the body, even though they work together. And only when we decipher them separately, we can understand how to work with them in harmony. Function as a human being, a creation on earth, how we're supposed to really function in a healthy, high vibrational way. When you open yourself up to love, when you start learning the markers of what love really is, your eyes widen to see the deceptions that are around you, the deceptions that you're holding on within yourself, the traumas and the associations that you're holding on within yourself. So it is a tough journey and you will need support. There's many different supports that you'll need, I'll talk about, but one of them is therapy, like I said. I understand the risk that you're taking to believe in love again, to believe in friendship again, to believe in family again. I understand that risk that you're taking because you've been hurt so much, because so much has been happening, because nobody's really fully been there for you or seen you. I understand it's a risk. However, the risk of staying the same or not taking that plunge, and hey, you can take it when you're ready, you can take it on your pace. You have your free will. Nobody's going to force you. And if somebody's forcing you, then that's probably not love. There's a risk, but there's no bigger risk that I would take. There's nothing more that I would take a risk for than love. There's a level of truth that is literally witnessing love through your heart, through your being, through your existence, through your vessel. And that is the love that I want you to experience. But you need to be able to work with your mind, your body, and your soul. And that's where psychology steps in. You're not going to be able to observe love and what is not love if your ego and your soul is not, if you're not aware of it. If you don't know the difference between your ego and your soul, you may not know when you're dismissing love or when you're not taking those steps towards love that are very hard because you're not used to it. Or you might also go back into traumatic patterns and not really realize it, because there are energies of our patterns, of the ether, socialization, of programming that take over and we're not aware of it. We think that that's us, but it's really not. Okay, so this is why the tool of psychology and therapy is really extremely important. And there's so much stigma behind it, but I'm going to sit down and talk about it today. Again, I don't need to convince anyone that this works. I really don't. But there are some reasons why you might be nervous to start, and I'm going to do as best as I can to eradicate this, because honestly, it's nonsense, it's useless, it's silly, it's just based on fear. Okay? Also, I'm not doing this in any type of order, but at the same time I am, because everything that I do is rooted in love. Every single thing I do is rooted in love for myself, for others, and also here to teach about love, because it is the only thing that keeps us going. It is the only thing that gives us purpose. It is the only thing that gives us life. It's love. And when we are deprived of it, when we're not working with it, when we're not on the vibration of it, we are suffering. And I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to suffer. And if you're here, that means you're, at the least bit open to it. This is literally what therapy is. And I've been studying psychology and helping people in counseling for a lot of time. And starting the career was really hard because I'm a Desi woman, and starting that career is like, how can you do this? How can you do this? Like, this is ridiculous. We don't do that. We're not of that people. We don't do that. Okay. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay. All therapy is two people. Let's say it's individual therapy. We'll just do individual, right? It's two people being honest, being open, asking questions, and learning. As the counselor, I have learned from the people that I was working with. It's not just I know everything and I'm here to just tell you this is why you're wrong. That's not what's happening. We're smart. We have an intelligence of understanding the mind. What is the mind? What is identity? Why do we do the things we do? Why do we have the behaviors that we have? That was the first reason why I started studying psychology. I was just curious because from a young age, I understood that people hold masks. They don't tell the truth. They hide their emotions. I could tell this very, very young. And I could tell people are in pain. People are suffering. So that's all it is. It's two people learning, mainly focused on obviously the client, the patient who is addressing a problem. But on the other side, we're learning too. I tell my clients all the time, I'm so honored to have had this space with you. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and opening up to me and allowing me space to understand you, because I'm a person that doesn't freaking understand anything and I need to. I really, really needed to understand people. Fast forward X amount of years, here we are, and this is what I want to do with the information that I've learned. I want to help you understand that learning about psychology, going to therapy is not a bad thing. And this is the hard part, right? We are afraid of being judged. We are afraid of being wrong. We are afraid that somebody might ridicule us. We are afraid that you know more than me, and that's a vulnerability. And there's cultural things, and we'll get to that part. If you're tiptoeing around it, the idea is that this one person is going to, hopefully, right? I'll tell you how to find the right person for you. But hopefully this person is going to give you a place that they're not going to judge you. They're not going to ridicule you. They're not going to tell you you're doing the wrong thing. They're just going to help you unlock what's already inside of you that you just cannot allow yourself to see, or you're contradicting yourself, or the way that you're going about attaining the thing that you want to go about might not be the healthiest or the best way. It's not about, oh, that's bad, you're addicted to a drug, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about drugs later.
But it's about, if that's not how you want to live, if it is hurting you in some ways, then you might need to go get help for it, other than like your family members or your friends or your partner who's saying, oh, you're awful for this is bad for you, blah 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 blah, you're ruining your life. The person in therapy is not going to be doing that. Well, they shouldn't be, because we don't need judgment, we need clarity, we need safety, because why did we start that addiction in the first place? And that's why you go to therapy, to figure that out, because at the end of the day, you attach yourself to something physical to ease your pain. That's just it. We'll talk about that another time. All therapy is you're going there to have a balancing board to really clarify all of your thoughts. And if you have some energy, heavy energy to let go of, you let go of in there. And that person is holding that space to take in that energy from you, to let you release. And then we got to cleanse it on our own too. There's stuff that you don't want to tell your parents. There's stuff that you don't want to tell your partner just yet. There's stuff that you can't tell your friends, or your friends don't really understand, or it's too embarrassing, or it's too hurtful, it's too painful. You don't want to put your stuff on other people. So you keep it inside. And guess what happens? We get tired and we get sick like that. Your body gets tired and sick. Your mind gets tired and sick. Let alone you have a whole entire life to live. You're working, you have kids, you have family, you have responsibilities, you have to make money, blah, blah, blah. On top of that, you have all those things. The last thing you need is more stress mentally, physically, and emotionally. You're carrying pain from years ago that's still in your mind. And that's that place where you're going to be able to do that. Oh, this is crazy. People think psychology is not a real science because you can't, find thoughts. You can't do surgery on them. Yes, you can. You're literally metaphorically surgically removing thoughts from your mind, traumas from your mind, energy from your body. You're literally doing that in therapy. A lot of people don't respect it because they don't want to be seen. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be figured out. Well, guess what? We're definitely figuring you out. That is for the people that don't respect it, because you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing everybody else a disservice. Everybody wants to talk about, oh, people are stupid, people are hateful, people are this. By diminishing and stigmatizing therapy and psychology, you're letting the people that need help get worse and worse and worse and worse, whether it's worse for themselves or worse for everybody around them. The stigmatization really needs to drop. And you need to allow yourself to go if you really want to go. And plus, you don't have to tell anybody. I tell people all the time, don't tell anybody. If you feel uncomfortable, don't tell anybody. It's nobody else's business. It's your life. You can do whatever it is that you want for yourself. You don't need to tell anyone. But funny enough, once it starts working and you love it, or you find someone that helps you be comfortable and makes you feel safe enough to like talk about all of these things, people are like screaming off the hilltops, go to therapy. Therapy is great. I have men that don't have that space. Men are not allowed to be emotional these days. A man that's emotional, expressive, is the most beautiful thing. It really is, especially today, because it doesn't exist much. Everybody's busy being macho and not giving a shit and caring, like, I'm tougher than you and blah, blah, blah. When a man can be expressive, it's the most beautiful thing to me. It really is. Because one, it's a rarity in this world right now. It really is. And so when I see it, I think it's wonderful. It's a thought and idea that I've had. It's like, men have emotions. They're not awful. They just don't care. There's no way that this creature, have been created to care so much, and that there's another creature that doesn't. That's like very similar to me. There's no way that I'm like this and I feel so much and that creature doesn't. It just doesn't make logical sense. If you identify as a male, that's a space for you to be able to finally let go. Please do let go. Please use it. But I've had men end up going to the gym and they're like, bro, you gotta go to therapy, bro. You gotta go to therapy, because they want to help their fellow brothers, to be like, dude, go. I know that you're hurting. I can see it. Men can see each other's pain. Women can see each other's pain. We can see what we're going through. Breaking those barriers is really important, because all this stuff that anybody is hating about the world can be helped if we just give that space to people. And some people will say, well, some people are just, demonic, or some people just, they have screws loose and all these different things. What if also you just don't know the mind enough? You're making assumptions based on your lack of knowledge of psychology, which is a not respected field because it's not a real science. Ridiculous. You can literally chart emotions and behaviors. You can put things into your mind, and then after a couple of days, your behaviors will change. How is that not science? If you're here, you're not that person. You're not the person that doesn't respect it or doesn't care about it. You might be someone, though, that is conditioned by those other people to not take the steps, to be nervous. I tell people all the time, stupid people don't go to therapy. I don't think anybody's stupid. That's a lie. I do. Smart people go to therapy. I'll say it like that. Smart people go to therapy because they are aware that they don't know everything, that they have a problem that they need a second pair of eyes on. Two heads are better than one, right? And why not go to somebody who's actually trained to understand the mind and behavior and your emotions, which probably your parents, your teachers, your partner, nobody taught you how to do. And even if they did teach you how to do, they did not do it in a scientific way to help you. If you're someone who is conditioned by the people that are saying, oh, that's so stupid, or your parents might be saying, well, we don't do that. Like, oh my gosh, my child has a problem. Oh my gosh, they have a mental problem. Like, dude, every freaking person has a mental problem. Everybody. Everybody. There's not one person on this planet that does not have an issue mentally or emotionally or energetically or physiologically, which all of it is affected by your thoughts. And what you do in therapy is just review your thoughts and choose better, healthier tools on how to move forward in your life. It might take a couple times to find the right person for you. I'm not saying that the first person that you meet and you're going to have therapy with is going to be the perfect match for you. You might not feel comfortable. There might be something that bothers you about them. You might just not mesh with them. That's fine. You're not meant to be with everybody. I'm sure that there's people that met me as a therapist and they didn't vibe with me and then they moved on. That's fine. No offense taken. If you think that I can't understand you or I'm not the right person for you, or maybe I wasn't in the part of my journey where I could help you, that's fine. Move on, find somebody else. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged if you find someone and then it's like, oh, this is so annoying. Like, be wary of your mind that's just being irritable, that's just giving up, doesn't have the energy to do the work to find somebody new, or somebody who's just like closed up or triggered, like, oh, they think they know everything, or oh, like they don't really want to help. Be wary of those thoughts in your mind that might be stopping you from getting the growth that you need. It might take a couple chances to find someone that you really resonate with, but you will find someone. Just don't give up. I'll also say that you're going through therapy, that's not going to be the only thing that is going to heal you. Typically, you're going to therapy maybe twice, maybe 3 times a week, depending on what you're going through. But typically, it's once a week that you're doing therapy sessions only for about 45 minutes. It's not going to be enough for you to gain the energy you need. At some point, that's probably all you have energy to do once a week. As you move along, you want to start putting yourself into knowledge. You want to listen to maybe talks. You might want to, obviously, you need to make sure you have a good support system or good people in your life, which maybe you don't have that. Fine. That's something you're going to need to learn, whether it's I'm learning it through therapy or I'm reading relationship books or I'm listening to relationship talks or I'm going to seminars. The idea is not to stay in therapy forever. Like I said, it is a place of learning. You learn what you didn't learn in school from your parents, from your childhood. You learn all the things that you did not understand about your mind now in therapy. 6 months to a year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on the level of trauma or the level of dysfunctionality you're dealing with, or how many years of baggage you're holding on to. It just depends. It's not meant to stay there forever. And then when you gather enough energy, you start reading, you start learning from people. Maybe you need a coach or mentor for other parts of your life that you want to excel in, whether it's in your career or a skill that you want to learn, or financially or in your business, something like that. You might need other people. Therapy is not the end all be all. In no way that I'm saying is, oh, you go to therapy, your life is fixed. No, it is a tool, just like you would go to study for something, just like you would go to get mentorship from someone to learn something. This is an avenue for you to learn about your mind. People do manifestation hacks and hack your this, hack your that. We're already hacked, okay? When we were born, we were just fine. No matter what the genetic predispositions we have or whatever happened in the womb or our lineage, we were just fine when we were born. It's our environment that cued the genetics, that the genes to evoke, okay, to spark. But we have to learn how to hack it, to unhack the way it was hacked, to go back to normal. We want to undo all of the stuff that the world, or dunya, did. That means world. And go back to our humanity. Humanity gets clogged up because, like in the last video that I talked about, our heart closes up and there's not enough energy flowing through our heart. And that's what psychology is for, because within our mind, within our mental constructs, our associations, our past traumas, we cage our mind and we cage our heart and we cage our body, and we're sort of moving in that way. You didn't have to have all the worst traumas in the world, or you could have. Either ways, it's good for you. You know your best yourself of what you're really dealing with, or if you're suppressing, or if you're holding. Again, if you're masking, that is the worst thing to live with. Oh my God, it is the worst thing to live with when you're walking around with a mask, when you can't be yourself, especially with the people that you love, especially with the people that you truly do want to connect with. You cannot be yourself, or you don't feel accepted or known or seen or heard. It is the worst. You might also be going through marital problems. You might also having financial issues, constraints mentally. You might have issues with your children, your grandchildren, whatever the case is. It might be valuable to go talk to someone. You can do research to find someone with the background that is valuable to you. For example, if you're of Christian faith, you might want to find a Christian therapist. They have that. If you are a spiritual person, you can find a spiritual therapist. They have that too. Sometimes I talk about astrology with my clients. I talk about numerology with my clients. I talk about God and faith with my clients. It just depends. So you can find someone tailor made to yourself if you just do a little bit of research and also attract it, right? Like putting it out into the universe. I really want to attract the right therapist for me, the right clinician for me. I have this issue and I want to do it in private, and I'm ready to take that leap. Take it. Let's say you're South Asian, you're a Desi girl, you're a Desi guy, you want a Desi person to be your therapist. Great, you can find that too. A lot of Desi people want Desi therapists, and I'm like, I'm gonna tell you exactly what the Shada lady is gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you exactly what the white lady is gonna tell you. I'm so sorry. I get you, but I'm gonna tell you still the same exact thing. I'm sorry, it is what it is. And that brings me to this portion of the talk. Oh my God, this is a alert, a call. If you're Desi, if you're South Asian, if you're Bangladeshi, dude, this is okay. This is my theory. Okay, after all these years of living, this is my theory that we can hate the systems that, oh, brown people aren't accepted into these places, brown people are this, and racism and all of this stuff, and the systems don't want us to be successful, all of this stuff. One of the biggest reasons why we are not progressing as a, I see everybody as one, okay, but as a community, why we're all still hurting each other and not respecting each other or hating on each other is because we will not understand the value of psychology and therapy in our journey. Most of us have not been doing this yet. Of course, I have seen a lot of people talking about it. Yes, that's true. But I think in the majority, a lot of us sharp, awesome, strong, smart people, and this goes, of course, any child of immigrants or immigrants, we are not doing this because, oh, that's not for us. Log kya kahenge? Mainche kita hoiba? Manush ki bol rahe? Oh my God. Stop. It's okay. मेरी गल सुन. मम्मी पापा नहीं बताए? बैठो. मैं बताती हूँ. कुछ नहीं होता, कुछ नहीं होता. किसी को नहीं बताओ. Don't tell anybody. Okay? Por favor. Por favor, escucha mis palabras. That one came, but it's still applicable, okay? Boricua, morena. Go to therapy. Okay, I've been so grateful to have had all the different colors, all the different faiths, all the different genders, all the different traumas, all the different jobs. Honestly, my career, I'm so fanatical about it. I'm so grateful for it. There's nobody that would have loved this career more than me. Nobody, 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 nobody. There's just nobody. And I've been, at the end of the day, as many people, as many every single things that I have seen, it all comes down to consciousness, associations, and trauma. That's it. That's it. Love your culture. Don't tell your parents. That's it. That's fine. They're going to be like, oh, but they're going to think I'm crazy. Well, you are, because they made you crazy. So don't tell them. I'm talking to my brown people at this point, bro. Go to therapy. Mata khaila mare. Seriously. Come on, we're Desi, bro. Like, we live for our parents, and they can do no wrong, but it's all about us. Like, dude, go to therapy. Don't tell them. Pagal ho gaya tu. Yes, they're gonna tell you that, but that's okay. That's all right. You're never gonna go back around to them and be like, oh, you made me like this, blah blah blah. Maybe you did out of anger. That's fine. Go to therapy to talk about it. Stop holding it all in your chest and all on your back like you have to walk alone like this. There is support out there. The Shada people are gonna tell you what the Shada people are gonna tell you, but it's true. It's based on facts. It's like they have this idea that, oh, you must be crazy. If you're questioning your reality, if you're suffering, you're crazy. Like, yeah, okay, I'm crazy. So I'm really not trying to put anybody down for having this perspective, but honestly, you're doing a disservice if you are not understanding the implications that are going on in our society if we don't understand psychology. Half the Desi people within my roster have been sexually abused by someone in their family. Wait till we talk about that. This is why you cannot play around with this stuff. Like, yes, it's not just, oh, I'm sad and depressed and my parents don't care. Yeah. But then all of the crap that you've been through because of the dynamics of a Desi household, of a Desi culture, you don't want your kids to be in that position. And if you don't understand how to deal with it, your kids are going to be in that position and you're not going to know how to deal with it. I don't know how else to tell you this, the seriousness of this. And this is the thing, everything that people are going through, not everybody's being telling you the truth about everything. Not everybody is being open about what they really went through. And mind you, the sexual abuse is not only women. Yup, there's real stuff that we need to talk about. And like they see people will be like, oh, my son's an alcoholic, my daughter drinks and this and that. And like, yeah, you're looking at it as all bad things. You don't understand why your son or daughter is going towards those things. And then the son or daughter thinks that they're awful, they're bad for doing those things. But what's the onset of why you're doing those things? What are you looking for out there that you haven't found in here? That nobody was able to teach you. And listen, I'm not mad at the parents too. A lot of the psychological information that we found has only been in the last 100 years. Okay, all the experiments and all this, I mean, knowledge, wisdom, and everything has been here since, come on, since the beginning of time. When civilization started growing and more to industrial and more to domestication and all of these different things, I don't know, it got lost in the wind somewhere. Even religion and all of these things got really, really corrupted, and we like have to start from the ground up and relearn everything. I don't blame our parents. They lived in very extraneous circumstances. They had to live just to feed us with a couple dollars type thing. Like, I'm not blaming them. It's not their fault. But also, like I said, knowledge and wisdom and love has been here throughout the beginning of time. It's a choice whether you want to go to it or not. So if you're seeing all the trauma and all the irritations and all the things around you from the abuse, you have a choice if you want to continue in those footsteps or create a path of your own. A path that has pretty much been walked on, and all you have to do is be open to it. It's really, really important to relearn and reorganize your identity, reorganize your psychology, especially if you're bicultural identity. You want to reorganize all this so you can actually feel liberation from all the different things that you are and really, really fully assume based on who you are, all of those things that you love so much. I'm not saying don't be Desi. I love being Desi. I'm not saying don't be the faith that you're in. I love the way I practice my faith. I'm not telling you not to love your parents. There's nobody in the world that loves my parents more than myself. Whether they think that or not, that's up to them. But the truth is, I haven't let go of any of those things. If anything, those things are more a part of me than ever before. All of the things that were corrupted in me, I brought to therapy. I've had several different types of therapists, and they've helped me all on my journey. And I'm utterly grateful that those people, those human beings, would give their time, their life, their energy to help others. And I do this as a job, but that doesn't mean those people, I'm like, yo, thank you for everything that you're doing for not just me, for everybody. And of course, there's many different professions where you can be very respectful that if they were not there, then our society would not be running. And yeah, there's a lot of crazies and there's loonies and blah, 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 but we're doing our freaking best, man. Do you know what was happening during COVID? Oh my God. Oh, that now everybody wants therapy. Like I was like half pissed. I'm like, oh, so now everybody wants to go to therapy. Now you want to see. Well, people did not have a choice but to see all of their problems right in their face, especially within the home, especially financially. We had no choice but to look at it. But if we were doing it well before COVID, what do you think would have happened? We would have been better equipped to handle it because we know that we should be handling our emotions and loving on ourselves and getting wisdom and knowledge. As I learned more and more about Islam, the biggest thing that I've understood is that Islam foundationally is based on knowledge and wisdom. So if you identify with Islam, I want you to understand that if your parents are Muslim and they're Desi or whatever the case is, and you don't feel comfortable talking about therapy, they don't understand therapy, don't blame them. But understand that you can do your job to carry out your life the way that you want to by understanding that just because they don't understand it doesn't mean that you cannot. Islam is heavily based on knowledge. This is why we have free will to make our mistakes and learn from them, or to make our choices and see the benefit of them and continue living our life. It is a way of learning how to actually live. And without understanding yourself as a creation, you cannot understand your creator. And I'm pointing outside as if the creator is outside, but the creator is within you. So just because your parents, the previous generations, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your who's, your whatevers don't understand it does not matter. You understand it. I don't care. You know what? I love my ladies. I love you guys. I love you so much. I love all my ladies. But especially if you're a man, go. Please, please, please. I'm begging you, go. If you're a gentleman and you don't feel like people give you space, you don't feel like you can be emotional, you don't feel like, great. Give yourself the gift of therapy so that you can give yourself the space to actually be yourself and find yourself and be truly who you are. There's no way, like, I cannot hate a gender. I cannot hate one gender over another. I can't do it. There's no reason to. I'm not going to say, oh, men are all hating and men suck and blah, 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 and women this and da, da, da. I can't. We're all human beings at the end of the day. That's it. And if you knew about psychology, if you knew about the soul, if you knew about the body, then you wouldn't say those things. So go to the place of learning so that you can start learning these very, very important things if we're going to have a healthy life for ourselves, good relationships for our children, and a better world to leave behind the children. Also, I will say that if I did not go through therapy, if I did not learn psychology, I would have never had the relationship that I do with God right now. I would never have the faith that I do right now, the strength that I do right now. Oh, child, I was about to die. I was about to die. I was about to be out of here. I was about to be like, deuces, y'all carry on. I don't give a shit. I'm out of here. I'm done. This is over with. Okay, but then I found love, and then I found God, and then I found all those things through therapy, through letting it go, understanding the mechanism of my mind. All of the traumas, you're storing it in your body. All of the arguments that you've had with people, you're storing it in the back of your head. Your identity is based on all of those things. So if you give yourself the space to learn, undo that work, you can get closer and closer. And it takes time, it takes courage, it takes a lot of effort and work and energy. But slowly over time, you're going to be able to put the pieces together. Just give yourself the chance, okay? Don't worry about what anybody else is saying. Keep it a secret if you want. Another thing is that you might not be able to afford it, or you don't have the right insurance. I'm not sure what your situation is, but search around to see if anyone's going to do pro bono work. Trust me, if anybody tells you that it doesn't exist, it does. I worked for free for a very long time. I've given therapy for free for people for a very long time. Even throughout COVID, I have made those adjustments for people. I'm not a therapist right now at this moment. I'm not doing that work right now or having new clients in, but do your research. I know it takes a lot of energy, especially if you're suffering from depression, anxiety, and all these different things. But please take it one day at a time and do the research and find somebody for yourself. If you don't have insurance, apply for insurance. If you don't have a job, try your best to get a job. Like, I'm not gonna say too much on that topic, but my point is, please don't give up on telling the universe, all right, listen, I need this help. Help me find it. I'm going to make the calls. I'm going to ask someone. I'm going to do research. Do what you have to do to get in the door. Also, if you don't have the job, if you don't have insurance, if you don't have those things, start reading psychology books. Start from somewhere. Reading The Body Keeps Score. Start reading Becoming Supernatural. Start listening to different talks. Start researching. I'm sure there's like 1,000,001 videos about how people overcame depression, how people overcame anxiety, brown girl problems, brown family problems. Like, go look at that stuff. Start from somewhere, gain a little bit of energy. I know that people think that money, relationships, status, love, approval from your parents, I understand that you think that those things are going to make you feel better. I'm going to give you a moment of silence to tell you that that's not true. Okay, silence over. And that's not based on my experience. That's based on all the people and myself and research and just observing society. I've been a people watcher since I was out of the womb, okay? All those things outside of you, and I know you've heard it many times, those things are not going to give you fulfillment. But then you try the next thing and you try the next thing and you try that, because you're missing the point and the relationship between mind, body, and soul. You're missing the intricacies of your identity, habits, and behaviors. Without understanding all of those things, it's going to be hard for you to understand, like, well, why do people keep saying that those things are not going to fulfill you? Or why do they say that you keep looking for it outside of you when it's really inside of you? Why do people say that? You're not going to be able to understand that. And it is in my belief that you cannot be the best faithful person within your faith without understanding the brain and psychology. You can't. You can't, because you cannot know your creator without knowing what you are, because as a creation, you have a relationship with your creator. So if you don't know the mechanism of your mind, body, and soul, you're not going to be able to know your creator fully. It's funny, I think everything that I ever talk about is always going to come back to love. Always. It just is. It just is, because that is the only thing real in life. That's the only thing that makes life real, whether you have it or you don't. It's the truth. So you want to learn how to have loving relationships, how to love yourself, how to love life. You got to undo all the things that kept you from love, from loving relationships, from loving yourself, from loving love with your parents, blah, 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 all these different things. You have to understand the shadows and depths of you to then get to the point where you're liberated and you're walking free and you're happy and you're peaceful. It's not to say that, after going through therapy, everything's going to be okay. No, you just regulate your brain, your mind, your emotions, your body to function in a healthy way, because nobody said that life is easy, or a trauma or negative situations or tough situations don't happen, or traumatic situations don't happen. They do, but you need to have the strength and the knowledge to be able to deal with it, so that you don't blow out into a spiral or go killing people, or stealing from yourself or from other people, or whatever the case is. Like, negative things are going to be happen, but you'd be surprised at the strength and the wisdom that you can unlock within yourself if you just go through the process. The point isn't that, oh, now life is good, I've done therapy and everything's fine. No, it's that the things that would literally blow me out a couple years ago, wow, I can handle it. How? I'm not this tiny seed anymore. I've planted myself, and I have a trunk that has roots that are grounded, and nothing can shake me at this point. That's the point. That no matter what winds and storms and whatever is coming my way, I am still here and I'm breathing and life is still flowing through me, and I'm not wearing these masks trying to pretend that everything is okay when it's really not. Get the support that you need. It's not just therapy. You're going to want to read. You're going to want to, just douse yourself in as much wisdom and love and intellect as you can. Research history. That's the only reason why I'm still alive today. Honestly, there's actually a couple of reasons why I'm still alive today, but knowledge and wisdom and freedom is the biggest thing. If I didn't have teachers and mentors teach me, and therapists help me and guide me and contain my energy, I wouldn't. So I understand maybe you can be hateful of people and you just don't you just can't, you have lost faith in people. Trust me, there's people in this world that are really, really trying to help, really, really trying to be better themselves, really, really wanting to love and help others, and that are just waiting for you to also be on that vibration so that you guys can meet each other. I promise you that. I promise you that not everybody's so negative, not everybody's stupid, not everybody's evil, not everybody's out to get you. There was a time where you could allow a traveler into your home and give them a meal. No, ain't nobody doing that today. Nobody's doing that today. But there was a time, and those were really nice times. But now the ego has gone to a point where everything is out to get everybody, and we can get mad at the systems. We can get mad at the people controlling. We can get mad at all those things, or we can do ourselves the service and the love and the support that we need. So then how do we function where this world is at right now? If I've left anything, I will continue it in the next video. Thank you so much. Start the journey. Take the leap. I love you so much. Mwah. Thank you for being here.